the second part of May 15th class of ELT's 115 section 3. I would like to show you this a short video. All right, are you ready to see the vocal folds vibrating?
Yes.
Yes, yes. All right, good. So when I say vibration of the vocal cords, this is what I mean. I'm going to start again sharing, this time including the sound. Okay, here we go.
Out. Now keep your head back. Take a nice big breath in and a big yeet. Okay, take a breath. Now do that soft. Good. Now do a lower pitch. Lean forward. Oh, there we go. Good. Now a little higher pitch. Good. A little higher. Okay. Do that same pitch soft. Good. Do that pitch loud. Good. Now go E.
Pay attention here.
And high to low.
All right. So that's what I mean when I say vibration of the vocal cords. Any comments?
Mi profesor de música alguna vez nos las mostró, pero ocupaban al vocalista de Aerosmith.
Okay. Good.
Él lo hace mal, sí, po.
Another short video. This one with singing voices, people who are singing, and here we go. Right, another good example of how vocal cords vibrate and what is actually happening inside the vocal tract. Right, so it might be mysterious, it might be interesting, it might be disgusting, or completely fascinating for some of you, but this is the real thing, right? So when we talk about vibration of the vocal cords, and we see that some of the in the video, the first woman was producing a high pitch sound. Her vocal folds were tense and very long, very tense, right? And when she was going down in the pitch, when she was reaching a lower pitch, her vocal folds were not so tense and not so spread, right? So you can see that these vocal folds are very flexible membranes. Mm-hmm. In terms of I mean, before the quiz that I mentioned, I wanted to share with you another interesting sound, which is basically connected with linguistics. Let me find. Let me find the. Okay, it's called click, which is a sort of an African language. This is another sound that we humans can produce. Click. Okay, and it's exotic because it's not present in many of the Western languages like Spanish, English, German, Italian, French, and there are clicks. And I'm going to give you an example that I found in a video about this language that has clicks. Here we go. I'm going to start sharing, but this time including sound. Okay, here we go.
Sakaya, I am so sorry that this lesson took so long, but anyway, it was worth it. I believe I'm going to teach you how to say the clicks. For example, Xhosa, my language that I speak, it is one of the three major clicks that we use. The three clicks are X, which is, or the C, which is pronounced and the Q, which is pronounced Q. So I will now try to teach you how to say these supposedly difficult words to say. Now, I will start with I believe, a slightly simple one to say, which would be the C. E, E, E. Okay, that's ta, ta, C. All you have to do is just to place the roof of your tongue. No, your tongue. Right on the roof, but you don't put it flat. It's just the tip of your tongue. Okay? So that's easy. Okay? Basically, and also how we pronounce our vowels is kind of slightly, is a bit different from English. So I should teach you that in the next lesson. And then you have the X's, which is right. So like you'd say if you're riding a horse and go, to get the horse to go. So it's quite easy. It's just place your tongue on like to the side of your molars. Okay. And then you have the Q's, and that the Q's are pronounced. All right. So that is a o. It's almost like it's like a whiplash almost, or like using your tongue. So you go like see how I place my tongue on the white of my mouth. It's like I don't play. It's not totally flat. It's just the tip of my tongue. Not completely flat. A, E, O, U. So if you could make a video response to this time to see how well you're doing, and I will grade you, but I will kind of correct you where where you've gone wrong. But just make a video response so that you learn as well if you want to learn.
Alrighty. So clicks, interesting. Clicks that are part of some languages, not English, but anyway, it's good to know. You later are going to take linguistics, I believe, and then this is going to be part of a contents that you're going to review. Okay, exercise for you. Where is the airstream blocked? Please take a moment to do this formative quiz as an exercise or formative quiz. Write down the answers to this, and then we're going to review the answers as a group. Okay? The answer to this question should be shared with you in the next, I don't know, 5 minutes. Is that all right? Is 5 minutes okay with you?
I think.
Okay, 7 minutes. Please do this practical activity. Answer the question, where is the airstream blocked when you're producing bilabial stops, alveolar stops, velar stops, palatal, affricates, and glottal stops? Remember, stops or plosives, same thing. Bilabial plosives, alveolar plosives, velar plosives, okay? So in the next 7 minutes, we're going to share the answers, all right? Good luck. Are you ready? Have you finished this formative quiz? Can we share the answers? Do you need more time?
Yes, please.
How much? Like 5 minutes? 5 more minutes? Is that all right with you?
Yep.
Great. So 5 more minutes it is. I'm sorry. By the way, you can do this exercise as a group. You can do this formative quiz as a group if you want. Okay. You can talk to each other. That's what I mean. All right, let's review some of the answers that you have. Do I have any volunteer? You can take A, B, C, D, or E. Can I have a volunteer for this one, for this exercise?
Profesor, ¿está mostrando alternativas o no?
For example, if you want to be a volunteer, you can take A or B or C or D or E, and you can explain where is the airstream blocked in the case of, for example, velar stops. Or basically, you have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 5 questions. Where is the airstream blocked when you produce bilabel stops? That's question number 1. Where is the airstream blocked when you articulate alveolar stops or alveolar plosives? That's the second question. So you have 5 questions here. These are not, this is not a multiple choice item.
Okay. Let me try with the first group.
Okay. Go for it, please.
I think it's okay. I think it's from my lips and P B, but in the case of M, in the third case, I'm not really sure because I think it's come from my nose. And for that I'm not really sure where I block the airstream.
Exactly. So I think we need to get rid of this one, right? Because it's not if you remember the group of here, you remember the group of bilabial. Okay, if you remember the group of plosive stops, we have p, b, t, d, k, and g, and the glottal stop, but we don't have m. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that one. Okay, so here we go again. So exactly, your answer is correct. Where's the airstream blocked when you produce a bilabel stop? The two lips, right? The two lips are blocking the airstream. Is that right? Yeah, excellent. What about the next ones? B, C, D, or E? Where is the airstream blocked when you produce alveolar stops or alveolar plosives? Or velar plosives? How do you feel about this question? Is it difficult for you?
The tongue is in the alveolar ridge.
Perfect. The tongue is in the alveolar
Profesor, sorry
ridge.
que...
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm listening.
No, entonces era mi internet. No,
Okay.
escuchaba medio robótico.
Exactly. The tip of the tongue is raised against the alveolar ridge, and there the airflow is stopped. Sorry. What about the velar stops or velar plosives? Any idea? What about palatal affricates?
Teacher,
Mm-hmm.
in the C,
Yep.
the tongue is in the soft palate, valvular, soft.
Perfect. Exactly. Exactly. The back of the tongue is against the soft palate or velum. Excellent. Good answer. What about D? Anyone? Anyone cares? Anyone interested? Where is the airstream blocked when you articulate a palatal affricate, such as ch, as in church, or j, as in jeans?
The tongue is behind the alveolar bridge.
Excellent. All right. The tongue is behind the alveolar ridge. Good job. Excellent. What about a glottal stop? Where is the airstream blocked? Airstream or airflow?
It has to be with the throat.
Yes, in the throat, exactly, in the throat. And, and in the throat, more specifically, in the
Vocal cords? No.
in the vocal cords, yes, in the vocal cords, exactly, specifically in the glottis, right? So the name glottal comes from glottis. The glottis is the small opening. So you have the vocal cords here, you have the vocal cords here, and the opening, the space or gap in between the vocal cords is called glottis. So there, the glottal stop is articulated by blocking the airstream with the vocal cords, right? Wonderful. So this is a quiz, all right? This is a writing quiz. Now we can have another one. Maybe we can keep this for the real quiz, right? Where's the airstream blocked in a labiodental fricative? Well, no, I'm not going to show you the other one. I'm going to keep it for the real quiz, the real writing quiz. Was this quiz difficult for you?
Yes.
Okay, what was difficult?
From me, is the last one. It's more difficult.
Okay. Okay, let me show you very quickly the quiz, and let me give you a trick. Okay, in this quiz, we have the question, where is the friction created? Because as I told you before, always try to connect friction with fricatives. Fricatives is basically a friction which is created in your mouth with some of the organs or articulators which are leaving a very small gap for the airflow to leave the mouth. Okay, so and where is the friction created? For a labiodental fricative such as f and v, the friction is created by the lips and the teeth. So you get that from this section. Where is the friction created in an interdental fricative? Interdental is basically inserting the tip of the tongue in between the teeth. So the friction is created by the teeth and the tongue, right? In the case of an alveolar fricative, where is the friction created? Is you produce s and z, s and z. You rise the tongue to touch the alveolar ridge, right? So the friction is created by the tongue being pressed against the alveolar ridge. So, in the case of palatal fricatives, sh and j, as in show and television or vision, j, j, the friction is created by the tongue being pressed against the area in between the alveolar ridge and the palate. So it's past the alveolar ridge. Mainly the palate. We can call it palate. And you get the answer from this one. Where's the friction created when you produce as in high? In the glottis. So you get that answer from here. So where's the friction created for each one of these? You get the answer from the first word. Okay, so that's a trick. In the first part, you get the where. You get the which articulators. The lips and the tooth. Sorry, the lips and the teeth. The tip of the tongue and the teeth. The tongue and the alveolar ridge. The tongue and the palate. The glottis. You see the answer is right here in front of you. Okay, because the other word, fricatives, has to do with how the airflow is affected, which is basically a friction. So we all know in all of these that they are all fricatives. That's what they have in common. F, v, th, the, s, z, sh, zh. All of them are fricatives. And we know that when we're talking about fricatives, it's because there's a friction in the oral cavity. So we already know that. We need to know the where. And the where, the answer is right here in the first element, in the first word. Okay. Now, if the question was not where, but how is the friction created? You will also have to refer to well, in this case, the upper teeth are pressed against the bottom lip, creating a friction by leaving a small gap for the airflow to leave the oral cavity. Okay, but let me give you a question for you to think of. Okay, how is the initial, describe the initial sound in the following words? And what you need to do is you need to put the place, the manner, and the voicing. The place of articulation, the manner of articulation, and if it's voiced or voiceless. Let me get rid of that, but focus on place and manner. Okay, so the first word is voice. The second word is stand. The next word is fin. And the next word is and the bonus. Okay, describe the initial sound in the following words. Refer to the place and manner. So which do you think would be the place for initial sound? Initial sound here, initial sound. Let's do this as a group, okay? Remember, comes whatever, say whatever comes to your mind. Don't filter. Just this is an exercise, all right? This is not evaluated. So, what do you think is the first sound of this word? Can you say it aloud, please?
The tongue is in the palate.
The tongue is in the palate, yes, right? And someone said j, right? J. So j, it should be this one, right? J, joys, joys, joys. So the tongue, the front part of the tongue is in the palate, okay? J, 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 j. Is right. It's like in between the alveolar ridge and the hard palate. So it's like a post-alveolar sound or a palatal alveolar sound. J. So in terms of place, it should be a post-alveolar, right? Or you can keep it as a palatal, right? If you want to be more specific, you can call it post-alveolar or palatal alveolar. In terms of manner, j, j. What do you think? J. In terms of manner, how the airflow is affected. Do you block the air when you say j, j, j? Is there a friction? Is there a stop and then a friction?
There's friction?
There is friction, exactly. When you say joys, joys, j, j, j. There is a stop here, and then a fricative. So this is a combination of two sounds, j. Because when you produce a fricative, you can keep producing the fricative for a long time. For example, when you say that is a fricative, and you can keep going on and on. The same when you say or when you say those are fricative sounds, and you can keep producing them for a long time. But when you say p, you cannot say p for a long time, right? Because you have blocked the air, you let it go, p, and that's the sound. You cannot go like p. You cannot cheat and say p, right? You're producing several p's. It's not the same sound, right? So that's one difference. And this one, j, 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 j. You cannot repeat this sound on and on, right? Because you have to stop and then release the air. You make a stop and release the air, okay? This combination of a stop and a fricative, right? It's called affricate, Okay. Affricate sounds, if you remember, are two. One of them is this one that you can find, for example, in words like church at the beginning and at the end of the word. And the other one is this one, j, that you can find in words like Joyce, James, Jennifer, judge. Okay? So whenever you have a sound, a consonant sound, in which you can see that there is a stop at the beginning and then a fricative, you immediately remember the concept of affricate, which is a combination of two sounds, because there are only two affricate sounds, ch and j. Okay, so this one in terms of place is post-alveolar, and in terms of manner is affricate. Okay, let's focus on the second one. Stand. We need to think about right? So what's the place of articulation of What do you think?
In the teeth.
Okay, how do you call that? What's the label for that particular sound? For example, you say science, stand, circle, sin, scene, song, place. Where do you put your tongue? What is your tongue doing? Silence. Say.
In the alveolar ridge.
Exactly, in the alveolar ridge. Wonderful. So because it's in the alveolar ridge, this sound is called alveolar, right? It's an alveolar sound in terms of place of articulation. Exactly. Good. In the tongue is in the alveolar ridge. So it's an alveolar sound. Now, in terms of manner, what happens to the airflow? In which way it is when you say if it's not a plosive or a stop, is there any friction when you're producing the sound s? Any obstruction? Are the teeth or tongue actually blocking or obstructing the air, partially blocking the air?
Yes.
Exactly. So when you would say as in stand, there is a friction of the airflow, right? Because it's partially blocked. So whenever we think about friction, we call this sound fricative, right? Fricative in terms of manner, in terms of in which way is the airflow being affected or modified. All right, so this would be alveolar fricative. In this case, where is the tongue? What is the tongue doing? Where is it? What's the place of articulation?
Labiodental.
Exactly. Labiodental. Perfect. It's a labiodental sound. And in terms of manner,
Fricative.
Perfect, fricative. All right. Sorry, I'm really slow writing the here. I apologize for that. Zoom. Zoom. Place of articulation.
I think it's the same as the second one.
Exactly. Exactly. It's an alveolar. And in terms of manner?
Fricative 2.
Fricative 2. Wonderful. Perfect. And while I'm finishing here, can you take a look at pencil? P. What kind of, what place of articulation when you are producing P is produced?
In the lips, both.
Exactly. Both in lips. How do we call this place of articulation?
Bilabial.
Wonderful. Bilabial. What about the manner?
It's a plosive sound.
Plosive sound. Wonderful. Perfectly said. It's a plosive sound. Excellent. You got it. All right. Now, if we had to add some more information here, such as voicing, we would have to say that the first one is, what do you think? Voiced or voiceless?
Boy.
Voiced, exactly. Voiced. I'm going to put this one, all right? This is voiced. What about the second one?
Voiceless.
Excellent. Voiceless. What about the third one? Fin.
Voiceless.
Correct. What about number 4? Zoom.
Voiced.
Voice.
Excellent. Good. Good. And the last one? P.
Voiceless.
Voiceless. Correct. All right. So this is how we describe consonant sounds, okay? We're using 3 criteria: place, manner, and voicing. And this is how you describe these consonant sounds. You did a wonderful job, and I think it's quite, I don't know if it's easy, but this is what you will have to do and this is what you need to know in order to describe and explain the sounds, right? Of course, you need to be able to produce them, articulate them, but also describe them, because you are going to become professionals of teaching English language. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. Do you have any questions before we finish the session?
No?
No.
All right. As a reminder, we review concepts of manner of articulation today connected with plosives, with fricatives, and affricates. We also learned about new families of sounds, which were the liquids, right, the glides, and the 2 groups called approximants, right? I will see you on the 20th, which is Wednesday, if I'm not wrong. And that day we will have a listening quiz and a writing quiz, okay? I think that quizzes should include only vowel sound and diphthongs. What do you think? I mean, vowel sounds, meaning diphthongs, triphthongs, and a bit of monophthongs, but not consonant sounds, unless you want me to include consonant sounds.
No.
No.
It's okay without the consonants now.
Okay. Just to be sure, I wrote 2 statements here: consonant sounds and no consonant sounds. Can you put a hand or an icon there, please, to take a look at your... Okay, 5 students, 5 out of 9 believe that consonant sounds should not be included, and I respect that decision. Okay, so listening and writing quiz will be about 6 students. It will be about sounds, right? Specifically vowel sounds, which is the main focus on diphthongs and triphthongs, but we are also going to include some monophthongs. I think the items, the item will not be more than 12, probably a multiple choice or fill in the gap or true or false. Okay, but very short, a very short quiz, both for the listening and the writing skills. Have a wonderful day. I will see you
Professor,
next. Yeah, ma'am, I'm listening.
I have a question, but it's not about the quiz.
Okay, go on.
I don't know if you check your email, but I send you one.
Yeah, I do check my email. And I got your email.
Yep.
Yeah, I got it. It was a surprise for me as well. Um, and because we are in a special context, I'm going to. I mean, this is going to be exactly as for everyone. Okay, I mean, this is not going to be an exception for this time. Okay, so I just need to put it at the beginning because I have um, several cases in which some students have sent me um, recordings to my email, and I work with the LMS. Okay, so but at some point I'm going to download from the email the recordings. Okay, and there's a very practical reason for that, because if I receive recordings through my email, I have to open each email at a time. So for example, here I have Javiera de la Fuente. So I open her email, download, and then close it. Then I have Valentina Layton. I open her email, download her recording. So it takes too much time to do it individually. But if I download the recordings from the LMS, I download them as one compressed file. So it just take one click. Okay, that's the only reason why I don't receive recordings through my email. But I think I have only 5 exceptions. Students who had issues, technical issues, while they were trying to upload their recordings. All right, so do not worry this time, Diana. You're fine. Okay,
Okay, thank you.
no problem. All right, have a good day. You take care. I will see you on Wednesday. Bye.